If you analyze what's going on in the world today, which makes little to no sense if you're a compassionate and intelligent person that wants to live truthfully and then have people love and be faithfully, faithfully love and be faithfully loved. The stuff that's happening, there's no intelligence to it. It's perceived as logical by people that perceive themselves as logical because they're seeing other people as a science experiment because they consider them not intellectually, they're pure or intellectually capable of solving problems, right? And so you'll find that most people that go to everybody and nobody and to tell the truth and nothing, nobody, nothing and stuff like that, those are people hiding in their brain to avoid the abuse from the people that make you go to an Ivy League school and compete to be the next great thinker that has doubt that he'll ever be able to solve all the world's problems, but maybe if he keeps trying someday he will, or she will, right? Which is the most horrible ego trap you can do to yourself and to others. Okay, you should never, when you're right about something, you should never be doubtful about it. Okay, life's eternal and grace is infinite. Don't doubt that. Okay, if you doubt that, you will have absolutely no faith in anything. Okay, you will try to break down everything to prove everything to be great and a genius, and it's you do not want to go down. That's Pandora's box. That's just that's the Ark of the Covenant in Steven Spielberg's imagination with Harrison Ford running around all the time. I had a picture of that man in my bedroom with who was the other one? Will Wheaton. Okay, watching me and my wife have sex. Right? I didn't let it bother me. I took down all my Sade and Mickey Howard posters and rolled them up and put them in the closet, And then they got thrown away. I don't know what happened to them, all my stuff. I saved all her stuff and, sent it to, I tried to take care of everything of hers. I tried to treat everything of hers with dignity and respect, the way I want to be treated, And, so it's hard. People do that. They will come in and they when they are being abused by brilliant, ingenious people, okay, they'll lash out at wisdom, okay, and no, I don't want to hear it because if they hear wisdom, I don't want to be tortured like you, I don't want to be abused like you, and then they have these things, some of the most brilliant people are loners, right? It's like, no, when you stand up to do the right thing and everybody capitulates, you do it alone, and it sucks. And it doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't make you live longer. The Christians in the Roman Colosseum, the disciples of Jesus, what they did to Jesus, it does not make you live longer. Okay? To stand up all alone for that which is right, because you know it's right and you don't have any doubts, right? So, booger. But you got to understand the type of people that we're dealing with that developed the technology that, through the line of me, through other people that are like me, are right now correcting. We're not attempting to correct. We're correcting it. Have faith. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Okay? Don't have any doubts. Okay. If you have doubts, I think I might be wrong. You think you might be wrong, that life's eternal and grace is infinite, and that's the truth. Okay, where are your doubts? Where's the computer program of Sam Harris in your head that's having problems with this? How do we Norton your antivirus? How do we McAfee your antivirus? How do we get those bugs out of your the bats out of your belfry? How do we do that for you? Is there anything I can do for you? Right. How do I get you from doing keep you from doing irrational things? Taking perfectly good food and throwing it out in the trash and then replacing it with the food that you like. Coming into people's houses and doing that. Walking and taking all their food, throwing it out in the trash and replacing it with the food you like. And some of the food you like, they can't digest well. So you're like, damn, I got to throw that food in the trash. Then I go back to get the store to replace the food that got thrown in the trash. And to me, that's very frustrating because, because of all this invention, that's time, and time is money. And I hate shopping, but I love people. I completely adore people. And you have to keep loving them no matter what they do to you, because life is eternal and grace is infinite, right? And so, when people attack you and they abuse you, you'll find when you're a really good person, okay, that people that have a tendency through their biological and psychological conditioning to be selfish because they have trouble handling the abuse from the selfish, and then they become selfish themselves. Like I told you, my prayers with my friend, Linda Michelle Bowen. And she talked to me, and she told me in prayer. She said, Earl, Papa don't take no mess. If you're supposed to be the guy that's like Jesus, you can't go acting like John McCain. Okay, how my kid's gonna live the ways of Jesus if you go acting like John McCain? And I'm like, dang, I was right to love you, and I'm right to always love you, right? And I'm never gonna stop loving Michelle. Okay, she's my friend. Okay, the time we had was brief because of everybody else's high class annex and conceit, but it was good. Okay, I had more quality time being a friend with that woman, and when stuff happened with her son Danny and my son Patrick, and everybody threw a fit about it, and I sat there and I said, well, let's find out. They're both little boys. Okay. They're just little boys. It was when I started working Patrick was born in 1991, and Mom died in 94, so it was in 1994, maybe 90, I think 95. Okay, so they were 4-year-old little boys. Okay, they took a shower together, and Danny reached out and touched Patrick. Didn't tell you, Patrick, hey, don't do that shit, right? And the parents all found out. People found out Corey said something or whatever and stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, well, Patrick stopped it right on the thing. It's that's not, And Michelle's got this look on her face, and and I'm like, it's okay. They're boys. It's okay. So we found out. So let's find out what happened. Talk to Danny, and I'll talk to Patrick, and let's not tell Stephanie. God, let's not tell Stephanie. Stephanie will go to town and want to have that kid incarcerated and psychoanalyzed and drugged. He's 4. Okay. Your son's well endowed. He's got bigger than most of the kids his age. And, like with the whole thing at the McDonald's at MU at ASU with the 2 hot blondes, one Mormon and one not Mormon. You could tell which one was Mormon and which one wasn't. He looks at the 2 hot blondes, and they were cute. And Dad screwed it up. My wingman set me up. Because the not Mormon girl was so cool, and she was so pretty. He looks at me and goes, Dad. And I go, what, son? How come your penis is big and hairy, and mine is small and not? And I'm like, really? You gonna do this right here? Like, seriously? Okay, so Adam Sandler, only a better basketball player, and lots of girls would say probably way hotter. Not way hotter? Probably way hotter, yeah. My dad looked like John Derek. Okay, so I'm sitting there, and I go, Patrick, first of all, you're giving Dad, it'll happen with you. You'll get bigger, and you're just a little boy. You'll change like I did in time, too. I was like you when I was little. And secondly, you're giving Dad way too much credit. You're going to pass Dad probably by 6th grade, okay? And the Mormon girls, I can't believe they're talking about this in public at the McDonald's. Oh my gosh, they're perverts, right? The little girl who's with the Mormon girl who's not Mormon is going, these guys are great. That was beautiful. That was one of the coolest, working with your kids, right? And the girl starts railing on me, the male Mormon girl. I can't believe you. I said, you can't do that. You can't sit there and say, you're a pervert, son. You sit there and you say, okay, you may not want to talk about that in front of Mormon church ladies or Dana Carvey on SNL. But, so I'm sitting there, please stand up, please walk away. And so I sat there and I said, when a kid asks you a question, you don't sit there and say, you just answer it appropriately. Okay. And then you deal with it appropriately and say, you're a crazy pervert. He's a human being asking a question. And besides, I think he's trying to hook me up with your friend, and Dad blew it. Marcia Brady didn't have it. Oh my gosh, no, she was so pretty. It's Arizona State University. Okay? Blonde hair, blue eyes. I don't know if it was an all-over tan. Would you have liked to try to find out? I would have spent my whole lifetime trying to find out. And how do you get the all-over tan? Would you? Okay, well, we make sure that you're safe when you're getting your all-over tan and nobody's doing any drone activity around here, right? But Dad screwed it up. Yeah, Dad did that on a couple occasions. Yeah, Patrick was the perfect wingman, and he set me up a couple times, and Dad muffed it, like Jake's mom. You know, she looked like Gwyneth Paltrow with fuller hips and a nicer tuchus. And, you know, her marriage fell apart because the dad was a jerk about the lesbian daughter. And I was married to a lesbian and had a good working relationship, as good as humanly possible in, you know, in the 20th century, with my ex-wife, and she thought that was so great. And so she went up and she had interest in me, and she went up to talk to Steffi about, you know, inquiring about things. And Steffi got mad because Steffi, who had a girlfriend, was hoping that Jake's mom was asking about her, when she was actually saying, you know, kind of, do you think it would be okay if, you know, if we kind of like blended families? And it was more like, no, she was interested in dating me because I was at a Fortune 500 company. I had a gay ex-wife. I didn't attack her with the courts. As a matter of fact, I had the opportunity to, and I didn't. And the people that told her that this was going to happen if she didn't straighten up and fly right were the gay and lesbian civil rights activists at Arizona State University, right? Yeah. She came in, he's done this and that and that. The guy looked at the paperwork, you know, just the facts, ma'am. You know, Joe Friday did. And he sat there, basically told her, he said, you know, you're not a very good person, and you're very fortunate that you have a heterosexual, husband that puts up with this crap and is not willing to take it and file charges and run you out of your son's life for good, because you're no good for him, you know, basically is what the little gay guy told her. Okay. And she was all upset, and he said, you'd sign that paperwork right now with that joint custody agreement he had with that legal aid, or, you know, this is the best deal you're ever going to get. You're not a good person. Okay. He's paying you child support to take care of his own son, and you're coming in here saying you're getting screwed. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The little gay guy looked at it. He had all the paperwork and all the stuff. Just like Judge O'Connor. Yeah, in the Arizona Court District. Yeah, in the Arizona, Judge O'Connor from the Arizona Court O'Connor family. That little gay law student at ASU looked at all the paperwork. She looked at all the paperwork, and her people took it and said, well, we don't have to. And I sat there. We sat with a mediator. Steffi attacked me and said I was lying and yada, 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 yada. And I said, no, look, I have the paperwork to support that, you know, I'm not lying. She doesn't have any paperwork to support that she's telling the truth. And then we went into court, and the girl says, well, you know, we submitted all our evidence, and the judge can decide to see it or not to see it. And the judge decided that the system was taking advantage of you know, and the thing about it is she was one more domestic violence episode of being, you know, of it going to the courts and taking her thing away. She stopped at 2. You know why? Because every time she had a domestic violence case, instead of calling the authorities from the state of Arizona, she called her ex-husband. Yeah. And then so you get all these people, well, you got screwed. Well, the nice thing about it is I'm the guy in the Bible like Elijah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, so forth, David, you know, so on. And none of you guys are. Okay. And David Rockefeller was video recording at this time, you know, like the whole thing with Yorgev and Amy with Natalie, you know, how do we know Jesus even existed? We didn't have videotape. And I tell people, you know, like I've told my sister this week, you know, this time we had videotape. You're a pervert. I'm a pervert. Yeah. That's what people think. Okay. That's what my hometown thinks. That's what my own family thinks. Okay. Jesus needs to pay for my sins because I'm a pervert. I'm a sexual deviant and a pervert. And they're all, you know, they're not good enough to get into Jesus' heaven, but they sure the hell are better people than me. Right? And they didn't go into Fort Huachuca. And they didn't shut down the worst deviants and perverts in the whole history of the world at Fort Huachuca and get them all replaced with Silicon Valley. From October 2006 to February 2011, because they couldn't get Parsons to take the bait, not even with the great Stephen Hawking trying to talk him into it. Right. I told Stephen Hawking, I said, man, if this all goes through, I'll have Jennifer Lopez as a wife. And since you can, you know, feel things like I feel things through you, through my noggin, dude, I'll just let Jenny one night, could Steve kind of like occupy space in my head so he would know what I like to be the best jock in the world, the smartest person that can explain physics better than anyone in the world, and, have sex with one of the most desirable women in the whole world? Would that be okay? Because, I don't want to creep you out or anything like that, but poor Steve, I mean, look at his disease and everything. I did explain it to him that he was the cause of it, but, maybe after this lifetime, it won't happen again because he'll be living the Lord's Prayer and he'll trust the Lord, and he won't try to talk him into having socially inappropriate relationships with people that, won't try to bomb us back to the Stone Age and us be the crudes with peanut toe instead of. So, but it didn't work. He couldn't talk me into it, and he left. And then came back here, and then Morgan Freeman and what's the other guy's name? Tyler Perry tried to talk me into it. Yeah. And I was like, no. Why? No. I'm not going. It's not going to happen. Okay. I hate having the virtual presence of all you guys and the things you think about with your virtual presence through your spy equipment. I hate feeling the thought processes of everything you do. I hate having you in the house why my kids take a bath. Why my kids, my daughter probably discovers herself while she's in the bathroom because she's 13, same things all teenagers do when that kind of stuff happens, right? And so I hate it. I hate having this, quote, community in the interest of world unity and, corporate security. I hate it. It's disgusting. It's vile. It's horrible. And the horrible things that they do and how they injure people's brains, And you got to understand the brain injuries. I understand that most, on large portions of my family, alcohol, cigarettes, and marijuana. Okay. And when you survive hell with alcohol, cigarettes, and marijuana, after a while, you're not the person that you can fully be. Okay. And, being part of pit crew, a NASCAR or IndyCar, okay, is even worse than alcohol, cigarettes, and marijuana to survive this hell. Okay. You can sit in your garage with your friends listening to 2 Live Crew and Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh Crew over and over again with some Biz Markie and some Cover Girls and some Key Sweat and some Babyface and some After 7 and some SWV. Okay. And you'll think that sex is love. And you have to take on trifling ass motherfuckers to make sure you get your love and your money to get your love, which is sex, right? And you will pickle your liver and you'll kill some brain cells and you'll char your lungs, right? Right? But if you close the doors to the garage and you turn on the monster truck, listening to that music, we'll open the door and we'll find you all dead in there, right? Just leave it running, So, you know what I mean? So, this guy will rip your heart out, this Formula One driver and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. But can you stem cell research him a new one and replace it? What about all the guys in his pit crew? Or are they just like Lego pieces, like Lego Batman, Lego Justice League, Lego Star Wars, Lego Avengers, right? Wow. I'm an action figure, right? So, guys, what's happening in Crimea, in Russia? Okay. For thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, okay, the people in and out of Russia, okay, have become our transhumance raiders, okay, like Navajos and other things, stuff like that, okay. And only a Peewit judges a man by the grip and a grip by the man. Okay. Rachmaninoff. Pasternak. So yeah, there's lots of, Somewhere a hill blossoms in green and gold. Right. So, Peter and the Wolf. Dun, 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 dun. Right. They've been isolated, they've been angry, they've fought. They've set up in the mountains and watched the farm people down the thing and come and take what they want and go below. Some are good, some are bad. Some leave and try to mate with the Polish and so forth. You see what I'm saying? And the Germans just had a little bit nicer real estate than the Russians, right? Not so much. There's more frozen. There's, the Ural Mountains and the rivers there, and they're a little bit colder. It's a little bit more frozen. So you got to be a little bit more hardy to survive the winters in Russia than you do in Germany. Okay. And the Polish are the people that are the farm people that they come out of the hills and they raid. Like Shang Yu, you had challenged my. And besides, the girl will be missing her doll, right? And so, just because there are some assholes in a group doesn't mean all the, having been taught a lesson not to walk alone, I was waiting for the good Samaritan, but waiting was hopeless, it was all in vain. The Ku Klux Klan back again, the Black Panther Party back again, the Crips and the Bloods back again, right? I was watching those people today in the game warden's office having to go out there and go in those difficult situations because we're still dealing with irrational, competitive, non-justifiable economics for people to have to justify their existence to live here, or get greedy because they want more things because they feel they can, And, they had the one with these two cute little Mexican girls riding around on a jet ski, and they were running because they got scared because the police came after them. All right, is that what they thought? It's policia, Oh no, and they went running to Dad. Dad, you said it was okay. They were kiddos and they didn't see the things where if you go across with the jet skis there, you can hit swimmers and kill them. Okay. And he signed a citation that says here, you're going to have to do this and tell the dad, hey, you get the older men, make sure that you understand. Okay. If you're going to get drunk and get a boat and bring a jet ski out and all that there are also people swimming here, and you cannot ride the jet skis near where the people are swimming. And the people who are swimming have to read the little thing, say, don't go over here, you might get hit by a motorboat, a jet boat, or a jet ski, right? So, hey, stop, children, what's that sign? Everybody look what's going down. And you got to be aware of this and know this, right? And the thing about it is jet skiing's overrated. Motorboating and hydroplane, races on the Columbia River, overrated. I've seen them fly up in the air and kill people. Okay. In the Tri-Cities, guys are going and they were, the hydroplane boat races, and they're made out of fiberglass and they fly across that water. And if they hit a wrong thing and do something wrong, it can kill the guy. But it's, living is dangerous as dynamite. Sure makes you feel nervous, but it makes you feel all right. Makes you feel all right. You got a tattoo on your arm that says baby. You got another one that really just say hey, and you really hear them screaming for the dirt track demon. And they wonder why these people, get snuck in by their finagling uncle on their first taste of sin. All right. To just make life go away from junior high or high school. Right. Talking about the good times we shared together, exploring love, making plans, right? And so I used to wonder about that. I was like, how could they see that as fun? It's horrible. Drinking alcohol sucks. Getting high and not understanding what you're doing and laughing at everything, even when it's stupid, sucks. Driving a vehicle and killing somebody because you're trying to not participate in life because it sucks, right? It's horrible, right? And why are you driving the vehicle? For, to feel freedom, to feel independent, to go pick up Maybelline, to hold a grudge for the seatbelt that wouldn't budge, right? Because she needed to take care of my ding-a-ling, right? And then I can't talk to my 6-year-old daughter in Memphis, Tennessee, because I took care of my ding-a-ling too many times on the road, but make everybody feel sorry for me because me and her mom didn't agree. So she took she took my daughter and moved to Memphis, Tennessee with her family, right? What's your mama? And you have a daughter, all right? And her eyes are berry brown, right? Berry Brown, Chuck Berry, instead of Wilson Green. It's kind of funny if you think the Dr. Rick commercials are stupid and people actually really, were funny then, now, and yet to come, and we don't have to be completely raunchy and screw people in the air with Dippity Dooey's dick, right? Okay. That's funny. Yeah, isn't it though? Some of the stuff I watch is just a little over the top. It's just not that funny. No. What's funny is a kid. When they do stuff and they try to get away with it, and you're like, no, I'm staying right here. It's not funny when your wife does it and then blames it on the 11-year-old. But when the 11-year-old does it, you have to sit there and you have to not get mad and say, okay, you're acting just like your mother. And then you realize, see the tree, how big it's grown, but friend, it hasn't been too long. It wasn't big. Steffi, Patrick's mom, shit. They were both really bad. Okay. But Steffi was born in 69 with me, and the technology wasn't that bad at that time, but she was horrible to me. And she continued to be horrible to me. And she still hasn't told herself the truth, accepted the truth about our marriage, and told everybody he's right, I'm wrong. I think it was like making love to Jesus, right? Amy was born in 1980. Okay. The difference between the technology in 1969 and 1980 is like light years. Okay. Light years. Okay. So what they were doing to Amy Sue, in her mind, because she's a dumb little, Mississippi gangbanging, Job Corps rapist, gangbanger on a little, Nazi type girl from Florida, who's a product of an arranged marriage, and you're just like, God dang, these people are so horrible. Okay? Egomaniacs that are doubtful that they can fix the world because most people can't accept and acknowledge and understand their genius. They are horrible human beings. Okay. There's no other way to describe them, right? And, you have to love them because life's eternal and grace is infinite. And we're all given life by the glory of grace. Jesus didn't give you an option. Okay. You have to love them. You are commanded, right? Trust them? No. Like them? No. Okay. We're living the Lord's Prayer. I live in Eureka or the Gila, and they live somewhere in Tennessee. Kentucky woman, she shine with her own kind of light, And, I don't believe in incarceration. I don't believe in rehabilitation. Okay. I don't believe in that. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Okay. Or live in the Lord's Prayer. Their cesspool they call playground is greatly diminished, right? If they're not happy putting down their drone to spy on their next door neighbor to see what she likes so they can tell her everything she likes to hear so they can gain sexual access to her, then get tired of her and work on the next door neighbor that comes along that catches their fancy and he's oh so nice and he's oh so good and he's oh so healthy in his body and his mind. You get what I'm saying? Right. Okay, so I'm going to go see what happened with Bryce's and LeBronny's daddy. I would just retire. Yeah. And then tell Bronny, when you getting married and working on my grandkids? What, Dad? I thought I was supposed to be a professional basketball player. Do it as long as you want. And then after that, just broom it. Because there are no trust fans and no one friends and no one will be ravaging them after them because we'll all be living the Lord's Prayer. So find me a pretty nice girl who really adores you and you really adore her and bring me grandkids because I sure missed out on, child arrived just the other day, They helped raise the babies for 9 months out of the year, maybe 10, maybe more, right? For how many years? The whole thing, the whole shooting match, right? Here comes Dad, and Dad comes along, but Dad's too busy being a conglomerate and a CEO and a corporation all by himself. to be able to, just give you advice on how to be part of that conglomerate and that CEO. You'll probably not be that CEO and that conglomerate, but here's how to work with it. Here's what they do if they can. If you're just, the guy who's going to, it's like, money's not real. Go live the Lord's Prayer for sugar crying out loud. The puppy who was too cold to move. Then her tail started. Yeah. Guys, forgive, debt, and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. The reason why you have all these videos and stuff about animals being abused, okay, is because you are acting like animals competing over money, okay? Guys, you stop having people breeding animals thinking they can sell animals because people are suckers for animals to make lots of money off of it, is the moment you don't have people overbreeding animals to try to make money off of selling animals and giving money about animals because people are suckers for animals. Gosh damn, you guys are as dumb as the screenwriters for The Big Bang Theory and Will and Grace. Fired! Fired! Remember him on, what was the name of that show? Cat in the Hat. Cat in the Hat. That was it. You dirty hoe. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean. That part was funny when he's going through there and he steps on the hoe and it hits him in the pills. And then it starts saying, because I'm easy. Easy like so. That was even a louder voice screaming in my head saying, let the 12-year-old try. No. That Mike Myers was hilarious in that. Yeah, him and old Ronnie Howard and Clint Harrod's brother, Yeah, that was, there was a lot of part that were very funny. No one likes to kiss ass, No, everybody knows that the monarchy is just a figurehead and the real power is in Parliament. No one likes to kiss. No one likes to kiss. That was funny. It had a lot. It was very stupid, but it was a very funny movie. It was dumb. Oh yeah, it was very dumb. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Dr. Seuss is not a well person. He was trying to hide from reality, and he had to do propaganda to help people, give people places to hide from an hour. What are you hearing? I'm hearing for a who. Like Jimmy used to do to me in art class, What if there's a galaxy on that speck of dust? Okay, Jimmy, I'm trying to vibe on cute little Mexican girls and listen to the Bob Marley that the one girl's playing that does all the Bob Marley pictures. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm trying to do. I ain't trying to hear psychedelic Tuesdays. If I would be listening to the Pink Floyd album, okay? But I'm trying to listen to Bob Marley. He talks nothing about that stuff, okay? It was cute. The one little Mexican girl that did all the screen. I did basketball. I did Dr. J. Can't remember what else I did. I did Dr. J and Richard Robinson and a bunch of other, and she did Bob Marley silk screens. Yeah, they were the coolest. She would do them in red. She didn't do the black. She did them red, gold, and green. The colors of Boy George's Dreams. Yeah. Living would be easy if your colors were like my dreams. Red, gold, and green. And she did the coolest. She must have had a huge crush on Boop. Yeah, because she did the coolest. And Miss McClure, was that her name? I think it was. She was the coolest. She was one of those art teachers that was like, oh, that's nice, kids, okay. And you could see us all being at Miss McClure's house going, what are you doing? Miss McClure made us special brownies. What's that? Is that Bob Marley playing in the background? One love, one heart. So guys, being alone, no. Forgive, debt, and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. And being alone does not make you stronger, okay? The only way you can be strong is when you're loving others and others are being loved by you. And Carl Jung didn't like guests. I like guests. I just don't like people coming to try to teach me lessons when they have nothing to teach me. But when people can come and we can have a good time, collide your wills and we can just have fun and celebrate life because we believe in the Messiah. We believe his commands are perfect and it's going to happen and it's happening right now. It's not going to happen. It's happening right now. Okay, Apocalypse Now, but it's not a Martin Scorsese movie, and Dennis Hopper's crazy, and so was poor what's his name, Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah, see if we can help keep his and Chris Rock's daughters off the pole. What are you talking about? Chris is a major celebrity. If he hooked up with a woman, she might be very attractive, and his daughter, Chris, she don't look nothing like you. Oh my gosh, that is a very attractive young lady. Why, she's so lucky, she doesn't look nothing like you. Okay, guys, you understand? Okay, I love you guys. It's funny. I'm a guy. It's funny. Trust me. Chris Rock is laughing. If he's not, everybody hates Chris, right? I love you guys. Be good. Let's stand up. Do it now. Don't wait. Right. Peace.